it is the case that all caves are deep. And if you believe Little Cavern is a cave, you are forced to believe that Little Cavern is also deep. So yes, it is a valid argument. The next question is the argument sound? And what would you say to that? Is it sound? Please.
For these questions, it's always no.
Yeah, okay. In case you couldn't hear, it's entertaining. In case you couldn't hear, for some reason, for these questions, it's always no, the answer for this. I believe that the most interesting examples to give qualify to vote that they were not able to qualify to vote previously.
The new provision is more exclusive.
It is strictly more exclusive, and the previous one said every citizen. This one says only a citizen. So the other one, the old one is guaranteeing that everyone who is a citizen, if they satisfy these other criteria, they're allowed to vote. This one is saying you only give consideration to those who are citizens. So in particular, anyone who is not a citizen cannot vote. It is only a restriction, because the only thing that changed is going between every citizen to only a citizen. Right? So there's nobody who falls into the class of being only a citizen that didn't fall into the class of being every citizen, among everyone. Right? So that's correct. B is the answer there. Would you say the old provision is more restrictive than, less restrictive than, or equally restrictive as the new provision? So among these, what would you say? Yeah. This is also, yes, the old provision is less restrictive because that provision itself, it does not address whether non-citizens might be allowed to vote in elections. Okay? This question is not about any other regulations out there or any other things that might affect whether a person could vote. There may be regulations on being able to register that would automatically preclude inviters and non-citizens, but this provision is not about it. So this provision itself, it is the case that the old one is less restrictive because it didn't actually address that situation, that old provision. And there's something important to take away from this. The old provision didn't address that situation, regardless of whether there's something else that takes care of that situation, saying that maybe there's some other regulation that precludes non-citizens from voting. Okay, so it's just about this provision. It was not restricted in essence. So that's right, that's the. Then we have one last one here. 11, this is another interesting one. Another amendment, this is for the state of Florida in 2016. And this is the wording of the amendment. Rights to electricity to consumers regarding solar energy choice. This amendment establishes a right under Florida's constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property to generate electricity for their own use. State and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumer rights and public health, safety, and welfare, and to ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the costs of backup power and electric grid access to those who do. Okay, so there's a lot in that, and the question here we're being asked to answer, I can cover up this stuff, it's not that important. What particular words in the amendment might have the effect of allowing new fees for solar energy? So this is the question that's kind of getting at the heart of what's actually going on here. Yes?
My answer would be,
We want to answer B.
Rory, I think.
The words ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the costs of those who do. This essentially means that those who install solar can be expected to pay fees for backup power and access to the grid. Okay, so they're trying to word, well, okay, that's actually probably the next question. Yeah, so this is the last question. Last question of the last question here. If the right in the first sentence already existed, what purpose might the sentence serve for those who wrote the proposed amendment? So yeah, this is something we should keep in mind. We're saying we want to mention. It says it establishes that you have a right to own solar equipment. But people had the right to own solar equipment before. So why do they need it in their constitution? One possibility might be, I'll get you in a second. One possibility might be that people are afraid that that right is taken away. But the rest of this amendment does not read that way, because if that's the purpose. Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's probably D, because it is to make it sound better to people who support solar
That's
energy.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it was